Muslims are coming for your constitution. They want Sharia law, their barbaric, medieval legal code, to replace American law. And they're already making moves to get there. Someone worked very hard to make sure you would think that. Let's find out if it's true. Myth 1. Muslims are trying to force Sharia on America. They've said so, the evidence is everywhere. To impose is to force. It means using power to compel people to comply with something whether they want to or not. The reality is, what Muslims do in America isn't imposing, it's advocacy. To argue, vote, participate in civic life in accordance with their values, just like every other religious community in this country. When we were in civics class, we learned that was being a good citizen. You may have heard about certain incidents where Muslim community leaders publicly urged Muslim business owners to stop selling alcohol or pork.
That as a Muslim, you shouldn't sell haram. That the alcohol, the pork, the gambling, is all against Islam.
Is this creeping Sharia in action? A Muslim leader urging Muslim shop owners to align their business with their faith is advocacy. It's the same thing a pastor does when he urges his congregation to stop doing business with companies that conflict with Christian values. The moment any of that crosses into harassment, intimidation, or threats, it's already illegal. Existing law handles that in America. No new legislation is required. Myth number 2, Sharia is a foreign legal system. It has no place in America and can't coexist with the Constitution. So let's look at the word. Sharia literally means the path to the watering hole, the road that leads to what sustains life. It's the ethical and legal framework that guides how Muslims pray, conduct business, resolve disputes, and organize family life. So what do Muslims actually want from Sharia in an American context? The freedom to practice their faith, to organize their family life according to their values, to voluntarily resolve their disputes in ways consistent with their beliefs. That doesn't mean forcing anyone to live by Islamic rules. It means Muslims living by their faith and making their case in public just like everyone else. Replacing the Constitution or imposing Islamic criminal law, that's not what Muslims in America are asking for or working towards or organizing around. American criminal law governs criminal matters. That was never the question. Jewish communities operate religious arbitration courts right now. Family disputes, inheritance, business conflicts. The Catholic Church has canon law that's operated on American soil since before the Constitution. So sacred law in America, it's not something new. It just isn't controversial when everyone else does it. Between 2010 and today, at least 233 anti-Sharia bills have been introduced across 44 state legislatures. 20 signed into law. And when the bills that explicitly name Sharia got thrown out by federal courts on First Amendment grounds, the people behind them got smarter. They started saying foreign law instead. So it's broad enough to survive a legal challenge, but narrow enough to target, in practice, one community. When you have to disguise what you're targeting to make it constitutional, you've already told us everything we need to know. Myth number 3, Sharia is already here. Muslims are reshaping American law and culture from within. Here's what's actually true. Yes, Sharia is here. And it's been here since the first Muslims arrived in America. But what does that look like? It's a Muslim doctor observing her prayer break between shifts. A Muslim business owner ensuring his contracts are ethical and sound. A family resolving a dispute through a community elder rather than in a courtroom. People living according to their values, quietly, without demanding anyone else do the same. So yes, Muslims advocate for halal food options in hospitals and schools, for prayer space in their workplace, for accommodations that allow them to practice their faith, but without infringing on anyone else's rights. Every community does this. Churches negotiate Sunday closings, Jewish institutions maintain kosher kitchens, religious hospitals follow faith-based protocols. The question is never whether a community advocates for its values, it's whether that advocacy is legitimate. And for every other community, we say it is. Only one do we then say it's a takeover. Muslims in America want what every religious community in America wants: to participate in civic life as full citizens and not as suspects who have to prove their loyalty every time someone needs a distraction. And like every other religious community, Muslims reserve the right to advocate for their values in public life, to make the moral case for what they believe, to persuade their neighbors to engage in the democratic process. But the word for that is citizenship, and that belongs to everyone. Sharia is not coming for our Constitution. The question worth asking is what actually is? And why have you been pointed in the wrong direction while that happens?